Have you ever felt that life is uncertain? Have you ever worked hard for something without knowing if it would succeed? Many people wait for the perfect moment before taking action. They want guarantees. They want certainty. But life does not work that way. Every dream, every goal, and every success story begins with a risk. The quote on this book cover says, "Life is a gamble, bet on yourself." These words carry a powerful message. Today, we will explore why believing in yourself is often the safest and most rewarding choice you can make. Stay with us until the end, because one simple shift in mindset could completely change the way you see your future. Life is full of unknowns. No one can predict every outcome, avoid every mistake, or guarantee success. Yet some people achieve extraordinary things while others remain stuck in the same place for years. The difference is not luck alone. It is often the decision to trust themselves when nobody else does. Throughout history, successful people have faced uncertainty, criticism, failure, and fear. What pushed them forward was not perfect knowledge of the future. It was confidence in their ability to learn, adapt, and keep moving. When you invest your energy, effort, and belief in yourself, you are making the most important investment of all. The greatest risk is not failure. The greatest risk is never giving yourself the chance to succeed. Most people spend their lives looking for certainty, but certainty is something that rarely exists in the real world. Before starting a business, changing a career, moving to a new city, learning a new skill, or following a dream, many people wait for a sign that guarantees success. They tell themselves that they will begin when they feel ready, when they have enough money, when they have more experience, or when the timing is perfect. Unfortunately, that perfect moment often never arrives. As a result, years pass, opportunities disappear, and regrets quietly grow. The truth is that every important decision carries some level of risk. Even choosing to do nothing is a risk because it may lead to missed opportunities and unrealized potential. The people who achieve remarkable things understand this reality. They do not move forward because they are fearless. They move forward because they believe that their ability to adapt is stronger than the challenges they may face. When you trust yourself, you stop focusing only on what could go wrong and begin to notice what could go right. This does not mean ignoring reality or acting carelessly. It means recognizing that growth comes from action, not from endless waiting. Every skill you have today was once something you did not know. Every success you have experienced started as an uncertain possibility. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times, but each fall becomes part of the learning process. Adults often forget this lesson. They become so afraid of failure that they stop trying new things. Yet failure is not always the opposite of success. In many cases, it is part of the path toward success. Every mistake teaches a lesson, every challenge builds strength, and every setback provides experience that can be used in the future. The people who eventually win in life are not always the smartest, the richest, or the most talented. Very often, they are simply the ones who continue moving forward after others have given up. They place their trust in their own growth, effort, and resilience. They understand that no one else can live their life for them or make their biggest decisions. At some point, everyone must choose whether to let fear control their future or let courage guide their actions. Betting on yourself means believing that you are capable of learning what you do not know, improving where you are weak, and recovering when things do not go as planned. It means understanding that your future is influenced more by your persistence than by your current circumstances. Life will always involve uncertainty, but when you choose to invest in your own potential, you give yourself the opportunity to create possibilities that would never exist otherwise. The greatest rewards often belong to those who were willing to trust themselves before they had proof that everything would work out. That is why one of the most powerful decisions a person can make is to stop waiting for certainty and start building confidence through action. Making a decision based on yourself does not mean that everything will go exactly as planned. In fact, some of the most valuable lessons in life come from moments when things do not work out the way we expected. Many people think successful individuals move from one victory to another without struggle, but the reality is very different. Behind almost every achievement is a long story of mistakes, disappointments, and unexpected challenges. The difference is that successful people do not allow temporary failures to define their future. They understand that one setback is not a final verdict on their abilities. When a plan fails, they learn from it, adjust their approach, and continue moving forward. This mindset is powerful because it transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Imagine if every inventor, entrepreneur, athlete, or artist had quit after their first failure. Many of the world's greatest innovations and achievements would never have existed. Failure is often a teacher disguised as a problem. It reveals weaknesses that need improvement, highlights mistakes that need correction, and develops strengths that cannot be gained through comfort alone. Unfortunately, many people avoid taking action because they fear making mistakes. They worry about criticism, embarrassment, or losing something valuable. While these fears are natural, allowing them to control your decisions can create a much bigger problem. Years later, many people regret the chances they never took more than the mistakes they made. The reason is simple. A mistake can teach a lesson, but a missed opportunity teaches nothing except the pain of wondering what might have happened. When you choose to trust yourself, you give yourself permission to grow through experience rather than remaining trapped by fear. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to discover new abilities. Every difficult moment becomes evidence that you are stronger than you thought. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is something they build through action. Each time you face uncertainty and keep going, your confidence becomes stronger. Each time you solve a problem, overcome a difficulty, or recover from a disappointment, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling more than you imagined. This process creates resilience, one of the most important qualities for long-term success. Resilient people understand that progress is rarely a straight line. There will be delays, mistakes, and unexpected obstacles. However, they do not see these difficulties as reasons to stop. Instead, they see them as part of the journey. Life rewards those who continue learning and adapting. The ability to recover after failure is often more important than the ability to avoid failure altogether. Every successful person has moments when they doubted themselves, faced rejection, or experienced disappointment. What separated them from others was their decision to continue despite those experiences. They believed that their future could be better than their present situation. They understood that growth requires patience and persistence. When you invest in yourself, you are not betting that everything will be easy. You are betting that no matter what happens, you will find a way to learn, improve, and move forward. That belief becomes a source of strength during difficult times. Over time, it creates a powerful cycle where every challenge makes you wiser, every setback makes you stronger, and every step forward brings you closer to becoming the person you are capable of becoming. Many people spend years comparing themselves to others. They look at someone else's success, lifestyle, education, appearance, or achievements and begin to feel that they are falling behind. Social media has made this habit even more common. Every day, people see carefully selected highlights from other people's lives and mistakenly compare them to their own everyday reality. This comparison can slowly damage confidence and create the belief that success belongs to other people but not to them. However, one of the most important truths in life is that every person is living a different story. Everyone starts from a different place, faces different challenges, and moves at a different pace. Comparing your journey to someone else's journey is like comparing two books with completely different plots. The comparison will never be fair because the circumstances are never the same. When you decide to bet on yourself, you stop measuring your worth against other people. Instead, you focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. This shift in thinking can transform your life. Rather than feeling discouraged by someone else's success, you begin to see it as proof that growth and achievement are possible. You realize that your biggest competition is not another person. Your biggest competition is the version of yourself that is afraid to grow, afraid to learn, and afraid to take action. Real confidence comes from self-respect, not from being better than everyone else. It comes from knowing that you are making progress toward your goals, even if that progress is slow. Small improvements repeated consistently over time can create extraordinary results. A person who improves just a little every day will eventually become far stronger, wiser, and more capable than someone who never begins. This is why patience is so important. Many people give up because they expect immediate success. They plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. But meaningful growth takes time. Skills take time. Knowledge takes time. Success takes time. The strongest foundations are built slowly and carefully. Every day that you invest in learning, practicing, and improving, you are creating a future version of yourself that is more capable than the person you are today. The process may not always be exciting. There will be days when progress feels invisible. There will be moments when you wonder if your efforts are worth it. During those times, it is important to remember that growth is often happening beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Just as roots grow underground before a tree rises above the ground, personal development often occurs quietly before results appear. People who achieve great things understand this principle. They trust the process even when they cannot yet see the outcome. They remain committed to their goals because they believe in their potential. This belief becomes a powerful source of motivation. Instead of waiting for external approval, they learn to encourage themselves. Instead of depending on luck, they depend on consistent effort. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, they focus on their own path. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others and start investing fully in your own growth, you begin to unlock possibilities that were always within you. Your future becomes less about competing with the world and more about becoming the best version of yourself. In the end, the greatest victory is not proving your value to others. The greatest victory is proving to yourself that you were capable of far more than you once believed. The most valuable investment you will ever make is not in a business, a market, a product, or even a piece of property. The most valuable investment is the investment you make in yourself. Everything you achieve in life is influenced by what you know, how you think, what skills you develop, and how willing you are to grow. Money can be lost and earned again. Opportunities can disappear and return in different forms. But the knowledge, experience, discipline, and wisdom you build inside yourself become assets that stay with you for a lifetime. Unfortunately, many people spend years waiting for their circumstances to improve before they begin improving themselves. They tell themselves that they will learn new skills when they have more time, read more books when life becomes easier, or pursue their goals when they feel more motivated. The problem is that motivation often follows action rather than creating it. People who experience meaningful growth understand that progress begins long before perfect conditions arrive. They make learning a habit. They understand that every hour spent improving themselves creates benefits that can last for years. A single skill learned today can open doors tomorrow. A lesson learned from a book can change the way a person thinks forever. A new habit developed through daily practice can completely transform a person's future. Small investments in personal growth often produce results far greater than expected. The challenge is that these results are not always immediate. We live in a world that encourages instant gratification. People want quick success, fast results, and immediate rewards. Personal development works differently. The rewards often appear gradually. Day by day, your knowledge expands. Your confidence grows. Your decision-making improves. Your ability to solve problems becomes stronger. These improvements may seem small at first, but over time they create a powerful advantage. Imagine two people starting at the same point in life. One person spends every day learning, practicing, and improving. The other remains exactly the same. After a year, the difference may be noticeable. After 5 years, the difference may be dramatic. After 10 years, they may seem like completely different people. This is the power of consistent self-investment. It creates compound growth, where each improvement helps create the next one. Reading improves knowledge. Knowledge improves decisions. Better decisions create better opportunities. Better opportunities lead to greater experiences. Those experiences produce even more wisdom and confidence. The cycle continues to build momentum over time. This is why successful people often prioritize learning even after they achieve their goals. They understand that growth is not a destination. It is a lifelong process. Every new skill increases possibilities. Every new lesson expands perspective. Every challenge overcome increases resilience. When you invest in yourself, you are building a foundation that can support future success in many different areas of life. Even if circumstances change, your abilities remain with you. Even if one opportunity disappears, your skills can help create another. This creates a sense of security that does not depend entirely on external conditions. The confidence that comes from self-development is different from temporary motivation. It is based on evidence. It comes from knowing that you have consistently worked on becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. Over time, this confidence changes the way you approach life. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you begin to see them as challenges that can be overcome. Instead of feeling powerless when difficulties appear, you trust your ability to adapt and respond. The people who create extraordinary lives are often those who never stop learning and never stop growing. They understand that betting on themselves is not a single decision made once. It is a commitment that is renewed every day through actions, habits, and continuous improvement. When you choose to invest in yourself, you are choosing to build a future that is not limited by your current circumstances, but expanded by your potential. That decision may be one of the most powerful choices you ever make. Many people believe that confidence appears before action, but in reality, confidence is usually the result of action. This misunderstanding prevents countless people from pursuing their goals. They wait to feel confident before speaking up, starting a project, applying for an opportunity, or making an important change in their lives. Days become months, months become years, and the dream remains exactly where it started. The truth is that confidence rarely arrives as a gift. It is built through experience. Every time you take a step forward despite uncertainty, you teach your mind that you are capable of handling challenges. Every action becomes evidence that you are stronger than your fears. Think about someone learning a new language. On the first day, speaking even a simple sentence may feel uncomfortable. Mistakes seem embarrassing, pronunciation feels difficult, and progress appears slow. However, with consistent practice, something remarkable begins to happen. The same person who once felt nervous starts speaking with greater ease. The improvement did not happen because confidence magically appeared. Confidence grew because action was repeated over time. The same principle applies to nearly every area of life. Whether you want to build a career, start a business, improve relationships, learn a skill, or achieve a personal goal, confidence develops through participation, not observation. People often imagine that successful individuals never feel fear, but that is rarely true. Most successful people experience fear just like everyone else. The difference is that they do not allow fear to become the decision maker. They understand that fear is often a natural response to growth. When you step outside your comfort zone, uncertainty appears. Your mind tries to protect you by encouraging safety and familiarity. While this instinct can sometimes be useful, it can also prevent growth if followed too often. Everything meaningful exists outside the boundaries of complete comfort. New opportunities, valuable experiences, important relationships, and personal achievements often require stepping into situations where the outcome is unknown. This is why courage is so important. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means taking action even when fear is present. Every courageous action expands your comfort zone. Every challenge faced successfully increases self-belief. Over time, the things that once seemed impossible begin to feel normal. A conversation that once felt intimidating becomes easy. A goal that once seemed unrealistic becomes achievable. A dream that once felt distant starts becoming reality. This transformation happens because action changes perception. The more experiences you gain, the more proof you collect that you are capable of handling life's difficulties. This proof becomes the foundation of genuine confidence. Unlike empty positive thinking, genuine confidence is supported by real experiences and real growth. It comes from knowing that you have faced obstacles before and survived them. It comes from understanding that mistakes are not disasters but opportunities to learn. It comes from recognizing that perfection is not required for progress. Many people never discover their true potential because they spend too much time waiting for the perfect moment. They believe they need more confidence before they begin, when in fact beginning is what creates confidence. Every achievement starts with an imperfect first step. Every success story begins with uncertainty. The people who create extraordinary results are often ordinary people who decided to move forward despite their doubts. They trusted that they could learn along the way. They accepted that mistakes were part of the process. Most importantly, they believed that growth was possible. When you choose to bet on yourself, you are choosing to trust your ability to improve, adapt, and overcome challenges. You are choosing action over hesitation and growth over comfort. As the years pass, those small acts of courage accumulate into something powerful. They become a life shaped not by fear of failure, but by the willingness to pursue possibility. In the end, confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you create through the choices you make every single day. Many people spend a large part of their lives searching for guarantees before they commit to their dreams. They want certainty that their efforts will succeed, that their sacrifices will be rewarded, and that their risks will lead to positive outcomes. However, life rarely offers such guarantees. The future is uncertain for everyone. No one can predict every challenge, every opportunity, or every result. Yet despite this uncertainty, some people build extraordinary lives while others remain trapped by hesitation. The difference is often found in a simple but powerful choice, deciding to trust themselves even when the outcome is unknown. When you believe in yourself, you develop a mindset that allows you to move forward despite uncertainty. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating opportunities through action. This does not mean ignoring risks or pretending that difficulties do not exist. Instead, it means understanding that your ability to learn, adapt, and grow is greater than any obstacle you may face. Every successful person reaches a point where they must act without complete certainty. They must make decisions based on faith in their own potential rather than guarantees from the outside world. This faith becomes a source of strength during difficult times. When setbacks occur, people who trust themselves do not immediately assume that they have failed permanently. Instead, they view challenges as temporary situations that can be overcome through persistence and effort. They understand that every journey includes obstacles. The path to success is rarely smooth, and expecting a perfect journey often leads to disappointment. What matters is not avoiding every difficulty, but continuing to move forward despite them. Self-belief plays an important role in this process because it influences how you respond to challenges. A person who lacks confidence may see one failure as proof that they should quit. A person who believes in themselves sees the same failure as a lesson that can help them improve. This difference in perspective can completely change the direction of a life. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Over time, these experiences build resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks and continue pursuing your goals. It is one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop because success often depends more on persistence than on talent alone. Many talented people give up too early because they lose confidence when difficulties appear. Meanwhile, others with average abilities achieve remarkable results because they refuse to stop learning and growing. They understand that progress is more important than perfection. Every step forward, no matter how small, contributes to long-term success. This understanding allows them to remain focused even when immediate results are not visible. They trust the process because they trust themselves. As they continue moving forward, they gradually discover strengths they never knew they possessed. They become more capable of handling challenges, solving problems, and adapting to change. The confidence that develops through these experiences becomes stronger than any temporary fear or doubt. Eventually, they realize an important truth. The greatest advantage they have is not luck, talent, or circumstances. Their greatest advantage is their willingness to keep believing in their potential even when success is not guaranteed. Life will always involve uncertainty, but uncertainty does not have to be a reason for fear. It can also be a source of possibility. Every achievement, every innovation, and every meaningful accomplishment began as an uncertain idea in someone's mind. The people who changed their lives were often the ones who decided that the possibility of success was worth more than the fear of failure. They understood that the safest choice is not always the most rewarding one. Sometimes the greatest opportunities appear when you are willing to trust yourself and take a step into the unknown. When you choose to bet on yourself, you are choosing to believe that your future can be greater than your present circumstances. You are choosing growth over comfort, courage over hesitation, and possibility over fear. That decision has the power to transform not only your future, but also the way you experience every day of your life. One of the biggest reasons people stop improving in English is that they try to learn too much at the same time. They download many apps, buy different books, watch random videos, and memorize long vocabulary lists. At first, this feels exciting, but after a few weeks, they become confused and lose motivation. Real progress does not come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things consistently. Imagine planting a tree. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You simply give it water, sunlight, and time. Learning English works in the same way. Your daily habits are much more important than studying for many hours once a week. Even 20 or 30 minutes of focused practice every day can produce better results than 3 or 4 hours of study on a single day. The secret is consistency. Every time you read a short article, listen to a podcast, or practice speaking for a few minutes, your brain becomes more familiar with English. These small actions may seem simple, but together they create long-term improvement. Many successful English learners follow a daily routine instead of waiting until they have free time. They know that learning is a habit, not a special event. Another important idea is to study with a clear purpose. Instead of asking, "How many new words can I memorize today?" ask yourself, "How can I use these words in real life?" For example, if you learn the word opportunity, do not stop after reading the definition. Make it part of your own language by saying, "Learning English gives me more opportunities," or "This job is a great opportunity for my future." When you connect new vocabulary to your own experiences, your memory becomes much stronger. The same idea works with grammar. Instead of completing endless exercises, try using one grammar pattern in several personal sentences. If you are studying the past tense, talk about what you did yesterday. If you are learning the future tense, describe your plans for next week. Your brain remembers information better when it has a personal meaning. Another helpful habit is reviewing what you already know. Many learners always search for new lessons but rarely review old ones. As a result, they forget what they learned only a few days earlier. Strong learners understand that review is not a sign of slow progress. It is the process that turns short-term memory into long-term knowledge. Reading your old notes, listening again to a familiar audio, or repeating vocabulary after a few days makes your memory stronger each time. This is why small reviews are often more valuable than learning hundreds of new words. You should also celebrate small improvements. Maybe today you understood one more sentence in a video. Maybe you spoke for 1 minute without translating in your head. These moments may seem small, but they show that your English is growing. Fluency is not one big achievement that happens overnight. It is the result of thousands of small victories. Every page you read, every sentence you hear, every conversation you practice, and every mistake you correct moves you one step closer to your goal. When you trust the process and continue learning every day, English becomes less stressful and more natural. Over time, you will notice something surprising. The words come to your mind more quickly, listening becomes easier, and speaking feels more comfortable. This change does not happen because of one perfect lesson. It happens because you stayed consistent, patient, and focused on daily progress instead of instant results. One of the most powerful habits that can completely change your English journey is learning through real English instead of only studying English. Many learners spend years reading grammar explanations and memorizing vocabulary lists, but they rarely experience the language as it is naturally used. As a result, they know many rules but struggle to understand conversations or express their own ideas. Real improvement begins when English becomes part of your daily life. Instead of seeing English as a school subject, start treating it as a tool for discovering new ideas, interesting stories, useful information, and inspiring people. Watch videos about topics you enjoy. Listen to podcasts while walking or exercising. Read simple articles about science, sports, travel, technology, or personal development. When you enjoy the content, your brain pays more attention and learning becomes much easier. This is one reason why people often remember the words they hear in an exciting story better than the words they memorize from a vocabulary list. Emotions help the brain build stronger memories. If something makes you laugh, surprises you, or teaches you something valuable, you are more likely to remember the English connected to that experience. This is why interesting content is such a powerful teacher. Another helpful habit is noticing useful phrases instead of individual words. Native speakers usually communicate with groups of words that naturally belong together. For example, instead of learning the word decision by itself, learn the phrase make a decision. Instead of only learning the word attention, remember the expression pay attention. Instead of memorizing future, learn the sentence I am looking forward to the future. These natural combinations make your English sound smoother and help you speak more confidently. Your brain also remembers language more easily when it learns complete ideas instead of isolated vocabulary. Writing is another valuable way to strengthen everything you learn. You do not need to write long essays every day. Even a short paragraph about your day, your goals, or something interesting you learned is enough. Writing forces you to organize your thoughts, choose vocabulary, and apply grammar in a meaningful way. If you notice mistakes, do not feel disappointed. Every correction teaches your brain something new and helps prevent the same mistake in the future. Listening, reading, speaking, and writing are not separate skills. They support each other. The more you listen, the easier reading becomes. The more you read, the more vocabulary you gain for speaking and writing. Every skill strengthens the others. This is why balanced practice creates faster progress than focusing on only one area. It is also important to stay curious. When you hear a new expression, ask yourself where people use it, what it really means, and how you can use it in your own life. Curiosity keeps your mind active and makes learning enjoyable. Remember that fluency is not about knowing every word in the dictionary. Even native speakers continue learning new words throughout their lives. Fluency means understanding enough to communicate clearly, confidently, and naturally in everyday situations. Every day you spend reading one page, listening to one audio lesson, learning one useful phrase, or speaking for a few minutes brings you closer to that goal. The journey may seem slow at times, but every small effort is building a stronger foundation. Months from now, you will be able to understand conversations that once seemed impossible, express your ideas more naturally, and enjoy English without constantly worrying about mistakes. Keep learning, stay consistent, and trust that every meaningful moment you spend with English is shaping the confident speaker you are becoming. One of the most powerful habits that can completely change your English journey is learning through real English instead of only studying English. Many learners spend years reading grammar explanations and memorizing vocabulary lists, but they rarely experience the language as it is naturally used. As a result, they know many rules but struggle to understand conversations or express their own ideas. Real improvement begins when English becomes part of your daily life. Instead of seeing English as a school subject, start treating it as a tool for discovering new ideas, interesting stories, useful information, and inspiring people. Watch videos about topics you enjoy. Listen to podcasts while walking or exercising. Read simple articles about science, sports, travel, technology, or personal development. When you enjoy the content, Your brain pays more attention, and learning becomes much easier. This is one reason why people often remember the words they hear in an exciting story better than the words they memorize from a vocabulary list. Emotions help the brain build stronger memories. If something makes you laugh, surprises you, or teaches you something valuable, you are more likely to remember the English connected to that experience. This is why interesting content is such a powerful teacher. Another helpful habit is noticing useful phrases instead of individual words. Native speakers usually communicate with groups of words that naturally belong together. For example, instead of learning the word decision by itself, learn the phrase make a decision. Instead of only learning the word attention, remember the expression pay attention. Instead of memorizing future, learn the sentence, I am looking forward to the future. These natural combinations make your English sound smoother and help you speak more confidently. Your brain also remembers language more easily when it learns complete ideas instead of isolated vocabulary. Writing is another valuable way to strengthen everything you learn. You do not need to write long essays every day. Even a short paragraph about your day, your goals, or something interesting you learned is enough. Writing forces you to organize your thoughts, choose vocabulary, and apply grammar in a meaningful way. If you notice mistakes, do not feel disappointed. Every correction teaches your brain something new and helps prevent the same mistake in the future. Listening, reading, speaking, and writing are not separate skills. They support each other. The more you listen, the easier reading becomes. The more you read, the more vocabulary you gain for speaking and writing. Every skill strengthens the others. This is why balanced practice creates faster progress than focusing on only one area. It is also important to stay curious. When you hear a new expression, ask yourself where people use it, what it really means, and how you can use it in your own life. Curiosity keeps your mind active and makes learning enjoyable. Remember that fluency is not about knowing every word in the dictionary. Even native speakers continue learning new words throughout their lives. Fluency means understanding enough to communicate clearly, confidently, and naturally in everyday situations. Every day you spend reading one page, listening to one audio lesson, learning one useful phrase, or speaking for a few minutes brings you closer to that goal. The journey may seem slow at times, but every small effort is building a stronger foundation. Months from now, you will be able to understand conversations that once seemed impossible, express your ideas more naturally, and enjoy English without constantly worrying about mistakes. Keep learning, stay consistent, and trust that every meaningful moment you spend with English is shaping the confident speaker you are becoming. Congratulations on reaching the end of this lesson. That already tells me something important. You are serious about improving your English. Remember, becoming fluent is not about being perfect. It is about making progress every single day. Every new word you learn, every sentence you read, every podcast you listen to, and every conversation you practice is moving you one step closer to your goal. Some days will feel easy, while others may feel challenging, but never let a difficult day convince you to stop. Real success belongs to people who continue learning, even when progress seems slow. Every minute you invest in English today is building a stronger future for yourself tomorrow. Imagine where your English could be 6 months from now if you keep practicing a little every day. You could understand videos without subtitles, speak with greater confidence, read books more comfortably, and communicate with people from all over the world. Those opportunities begin with the small choices you make today. Never underestimate the power of consistency. Small daily improvements become life-changing results over time. Thank you for spending your valuable time with Daily English Audio. We are here to help you learn English in a simple, natural, and enjoyable way. If you enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future lessons. Also, write one new word or one useful idea you learned today in the comments. It is a great way to review what you have learned and inspire other English learners around the world. Keep learning, Keep believing in yourself, and most importantly, keep using English every single day. Your future self will thank you for the effort you make today. See you in the next video. Until then, stay curious, stay consistent, and keep speaking English with confidence. Goodbye.